الله أكبر. تعال يا مدام.
Iran confirms attacks on U.S. military bases in Qatar and Iraq. Explosions light up Doha sky. Asterisk, Revolutionary Guard claims coordinated military operation. U.S. mobilizes response forces. Asterisk. By International Desk, June 23, 2025. Iran officially confirmed having executed missile attacks against U.S. military installations in Qatar and Iraq during the early hours of Monday morning. In one of the most audacious military operations ever carried out by the Islamic Republic against American targets. Explosions were recorded in the outskirts of Doha, Qatar's capital, where the largest U.S. airbase in the Persian Gulf is located. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard released a statement claiming responsibility for the attacks, which struck the Al Udeid airbase in Qatar and the Ain al-Assad military installations in Iraq. Satellite imagery shows significant damage to hangars and runways, while columns of smoke could still be seen hours after the impacts. Hashtag coordinated operation hits strategic targets. Iranian military sources revealed that the operation, dubbed Promised Revenge, utilized more than 30 Fateh 313 and Zulfahar ballistic missiles, launched simultaneously from Iranian territory. The projectiles traveled approximately 800 kilometers before hitting their designated targets with surgical precision. This was a demonstration of our capability to reach any American target in the region, declared Revolutionary Guard Commander General Hossein Salami during a press conference in Tehran. American occupiers must understand that our patience has limits. The attack on Al Udeid base is particularly significant, as the installation houses the U.S. Central Command for Middle East Operations and hosts more than 11,000 military personnel. The base serves as a command center for air operations throughout the regional theater, including missions in Afghanistan, Syria, and Iraq. Hashtag First Casuals. First casualties confirmed. The Pentagon confirmed that at least 12 U.S. military personnel were injured in the attacks, with 3 in critical condition. Defense Department spokesperson Colonel Dave Johnson avoided releasing specific casualty numbers, but admitted there were significant losses of equipment and infrastructure. Witnesses in Doha reported seeing fireballs illuminating the horizon around 3:15 a.m. local time, followed by explosions that were heard within a 20-kilometer radius. Videos circulating on social media show the exact moment of impact, with orange flashes cutting through the darkness of dawn. The Qatari government, which maintains diplomatic relations with both the United States and Iran, convened an emergency cabinet meeting. Qatari authorities expressed deep concern about the attacks on their territory and called for restraint from all parties involved. Hashtag motivations behind the escalation. Analysts point out that the Iranian attacks may be related to recent U.S. military operations against Iranian targets in Syria, which resulted in the death of 5 Revolutionary Guard officers last week. Iran had promised a proportional response to the American attacks. Iran is sending a clear message that it has the capability and will to retaliate directly against American interests, explains Dr. Fareed Zakaria, regional security specialist at the London Institute for Strategic Studies. This marks a dangerous escalation in the pattern of indirect confrontation that had prevailed until now. Tensions escalated dramatically after the United States imposed new sanctions on Iran's banking sector last month, effectively cutting the country off from the international financial system. The measure was seen by Tehran as a declaration of economic war. When you were be such as now with escape, or you were warm in one base, anyone of your physical. International reaction and markets. Global markets reacted immediately to the military escalation. Brent oil prices surged 15% in the first hours of trading, surpassing the $100 per barrel mark for the first time since 2022. Gold reached historic peaks, while major Asian stock exchanges plummeted. We're seeing a massive flight to safe assets, comments Elena Rodriguez, chief analyst at Goldman Sachs. The possibility of a broader regional conflict is haunting investors globally. The European Union convened an extraordinary Security Council meeting, with High Representative Josep Borrell classifying the attacks as extremely concerning for regional stability. France and Germany offered diplomatic mediation, while the United Kingdom expressed unconditional solidarity with the United States. Hashtag military preparations intensify. In response to the attacks, the Pentagon announced the immediate deployment of aircraft carrier USS Gerald Ford to the Persian Gulf, along with a naval battle group composed of destroyers and nuclear submarines. B-52 bombers were relocated from Diego Garcia Base to forward positions in the region. The U.S. president canceled all agenda commitments and convened an emergency National Security Council meeting. White House sources indicate that all options are on the table, including direct military retaliation against Iranian territory. Israel raised its military alert level to maximum, fearing being drawn into the conflict. The Iron Dome defense system was activated throughout the country, while reservists were called up to reinforce border units. The Israeli Prime Minister declared that the country will not hesitate to act if threatened. Hashtag regional consequences. The military escalation jeopardizes fragile regional stability, already shaken by conflicts in Yemen, Syria, and tensions in Lebanon. Iran's regional allies, including armed groups in Iraq and Syria, placed their forces on maximum alert. Lebanese Hezbollah expressed total solidarity with Iran and warned Israel against any military adventure. In Syria, Iranian-backed militias began mobilizing near American positions in Deir ez-Zor province. Saudi Arabia, Iran's main regional rival, temporarily suspended operations at its oil fields near the Iranian border. The Saudi kingdom also reinforced defense of its critical installations, including refineries and export terminals. Diplomacy and collapse. Traditional diplomatic channels between Washington and Tehran, already limited, appear to have completely collapsed. Switzerland, which represents American interests in Iran, reported that Iranian authorities rejected dialogue proposals through intermediaries. "We are at an extremely dangerous moment," assesses former U.S. ambassador to Iran, John Limbert. Both sides seem determined to demonstrate strength, which dramatically increases the risk of a larger conflict. The UN Secretary-General convened an Emergency Security Council session for this afternoon, calling for maximum restraint from all parties. However, with the United States and Russia on opposite sides, prospects for a quick diplomatic resolution appear remote. The region awaits with apprehension the next moves from both countries, while the world observes one of the most serious military crises in the Middle East in recent years unfold rapidly. Important. This is a completely fictional text created for educational purposes. It does not represent real events and should not be shared as true news.